This Brickyard 400 DFS Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACE SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. It's Friday. It's raining in Indianapolis. Cody, I don't want to keep doing these weather delay things, but by God, man, when are we going to stop getting rain at a NASCAR race?
Well, if you when we build that dome at Bristol that they were talking about, Rod, that I think that'll probably, hopefully, fix it all, and we'll just run a lot of dome races at Bristol.
Wouldn't that be something? Could you imagine? A noise, just the noise itself. You would have to have headphones on top of headphones.
Yeah, they've got those Gateway Nationals every year in St. Louis where they run dirt late models inside of an arena, and it just, I've seen the pictures, I've seen the videos, like, looks so incredible. And of course, chili bowls all inside, stuff like that. So it's obviously motorsports is tougher to do inside than most sports, but it is possible, right? And hey, then we don't have to even take a winter break. We just keep running all year long.
Well, I buried the lead. Yes, we are here for the DFS episode of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's Brickyard 400. That's if and when we ever get any sort of on-track activity. There was supposed to be practice today. Obviously, we've shifted everything a day over because we wanted to make 650 special, and we just needed another day to bake it. So here we are on a Friday on a DFS. It's truck night in America. But obviously, we focus our attention on the Cup race for DFS purposes. But like we said, Cody, truck race. I've been buried back in this office. I've been doing shows all day, so I haven't had a chance to look at the official weather report or Bob Pockrass's tweets. So what is the prognosis for the truck race tonight and for the weekend ahead?
Well, qualifying was rained out, so they did set the lineup based on the metric, but they were practicing after that when. So that even though they canceled qualifying, they did run a practice session after that. So, that's been completed now. I've also been, it's been a Friday. I will say that. So I haven't seen it. I know Bob is in wherever IndyCar is.
Laguna, down here in my way.
Or they're in Laguna. That's right. Yes, they are in Laguna this week. But, so I don't know how much he's updating either, but, I'll try and find a weather report. Hopefully, we'll have some Friday night action under the lights here at our IRP coming up. Shortly after our show here.
I would very much like that. Nick checking into the chat saying Bubba Wallace will win this Sunday. I have a feeling that he's going to do well. We know that. Yeah. John Ray saying Bubba Wallace is going to win at Daytona. So a couple of Bubba Wallace fans in the chat today.
Yeah. And John just said a minute ago, Chase Elliott's going to win here today, which brings up interesting conversation. Rod and I are going to have a disagreement later on in the show, so make sure you stay tuned. We do have rain tires, Rod, for the trucks at IRP. So there is that. Not rain tires for ARCA, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw, 6 female drivers in the ARCA race tonight, ties the series record. So that's pretty awesome. They'll be racing here at IRP. I think that race is actually supposed to start real soon. But yeah, truck series. So Bob an hour ago said radar relatively clear right now in Indy. IRP is just west of IMS, of course. ARCA race. Oh yeah, ARCA race has been going on for almost an hour. So it appears they are running currently. And then they do have the wet weather tire for the trucks if needed. So that could add, that could add some crazy stuff. There was crazy tire fall off in the practice session earlier too, which very interesting. So I thought we were going to get a chance to talk about some DFS post Cup Series qualifying here, Rod, but of course that was rained out as well. And they did move it to a combined practice session tomorrow. So the Saturday schedule has been updated for over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And there's drivers that are fans of that too. They want every race to have some sort of rain so they can have that longer practice and an opportunity to be out on the track. I know that's a big thing, so but not for us. We don't like that. And we want, actual good weather at our races. But we also want you to go and support the Sports Gambling Podcast. They're back with their 32 NFL team preview. They're also bringing back the phrase that pays. Each episode, they're going to give out one word of a 32-word phrase, whether that's and, if, submit the phrase for a chance to win a $1,000 Circa future. Cody, this is it's a word that's buried in there. You got to listen to find out.
We did get Roman numerals today as one of the words. Ooh. So Sean is being it's great. They did it great because Ryan doesn't even know the phrase. So he's learning along with us, the people, as we go. Sean's the only one who knows. But yes, today, one of the episodes, I don't remember which one. They're doing 2 a days, which is amazing. But today, one of the words was Roman numerals. So he's really digging deep in this phrase, which is always a lot of fun. And the guy, because I think last year was a $500 Circa feature, and the guy parlayed 4 division winners and hit 3 of them. So got really close to that. Your 49ers, Rod, were the one who let him down, unfortunately.
Well,
but, it happens.
That's the way of the world, man. They let me down in more ways than one. So 100% get you on that one. Justin checking in saying, happy Friday. Miss Friday shows your internet should mess up more. It's like rain delay, Cody. Well, some people like it, some people don't.
Sometimes it does work out better to watch a race on Monday. I get it, right? Sometimes you're busy on Sunday and you're like, oh, hey, this actually worked out nicely. Enjoy the Friday show while you have it this week. We do have one piece of news to touch on real quick, Rod, before we jump into the show. James Dennis Allen Hamlin signed a contract extension today. His contract was up at the end of the year here at Joe Gibbs Racing. And he's obviously got 4 wins already this season, coming off of a win this past week. They were at the Monster Mile. And what better time, just had a baby. What better time to re-up? So this is a multi-year deal is how it was reported by Joe Gibbs Racing themselves. But, Bob Pockrass and Jordan Bianchi believe that it's a 2-year deal, locking him in through 2027. And then Denny's comment to Jordan Bianchi, I'm going to pull it up because I don't want to butcher it, but I thought it was great because, basically saying that this is going to be, Denny Hamlin says that this is probably most likely his last contract extension he'll sign, but then adds, who knows? So probably, most likely, but who knows? So just leaving it completely open-ended. Of course, now he's at 59 career wins. I believe that has him 10th or 11th on the all-time wins list. 60 was always the number he was chasing. Once he gets to 60, I think he's going to be quickly chasing the number 70 next.
Danny's like me. I just signed a 6-year extension for the military, and I'm like, well, this could possibly quite be the last extension I sign. Who knows?
But who knows?
Who knows? I don't even know the answer to that question. Well, ask me 5 more years down the road, and we'll see what my answer is at that point. But I listen, and there's nobody that is surprised by this. Obviously, Denny Hamlin. One of the best drivers in the sport, even though you may not like him personally, he obviously is talented enough. The whole 2311 thing, that never really came into play with fighting in conflict of interest with Gibbs, so there was no reason for him not to stay there.
Yeah, it's a completely separate thing. He's on top of his game right now. They're on top of their game right now. It all makes sense. Obviously, sponsorship, the biggest question because of the FedEx leaving. That's what cost Kyle Busch. Well, that and Ty Gibbs was ready for a ride, cost Kyle Busch his ride when we didn't think he would leave either. So, there was still some uncertainty, right? You didn't think Kyle was going to leave, then suddenly Kyle's out the door. But good to see Denny re-up, and I think that he's going to continue to be competitive for these next couple of years.
Was Ty Gibbs ready for that ride? I think the question is out as whether or not he was. But okay, that's it. No more.
So, Ron. Look at all the people who didn't win until after 100 wins. He's fine.
It's fine. 100 wins, 100 races, 100 wins. If he run it after 100 wins, that's 101. That's fantastic.
That's a lot of.
It's Friday. You guys asked for a Friday episode. This is what you get. All right. So. It is, of course, the DFS episode of the show where we will give you our favorite DFS plays from this Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We are set, Cody, for 160 laps around this 2.500-mile paved track for 400 miles of racing fun. Gigantic track. We've saw, I don't know, the no practice thing or the major practice thing may play a huge role. Obviously, we don't know qualifying positions yet. It plays a bigger part, we think, as we talked about it in the betting episode this week, as it has in the past. So this is going to be kind of a chalky play, and our DFS and our underdog picks are gonna show that too as we break them down.
Yeah, it is going to tend to lean towards chalk. I missed the rest of what you said because Justin's over here wishing for my internet to mess up more, and I lost the connection momentarily. So let's not wish for that anymore, Justin. Thank you. But yeah, it's this race in general, and we've only seen 1 year of it in the next gen era, but it tends to be more chalky. You get the random races where Paul Menard wins on fuel mileage, but I think very similar to Dover last week, where it ended up being an extremely chalky week. I think that we could probably, for the most part, expect that kind of again this week. It's going to be some of the same names, some of the same faces up front that we seen a lot on the bigger, faster tracks this year.
That does not mean, though, that we are going to take a break of trying to find you the best DFS plays, because that is what we are here to do week after week after week, and we will do exactly that, setting up our high price, mid-tier, and low price drivers. But before we do any of that, allow me to take a couple of seconds and tell you about our friends over at Circa, the world's greatest sports book. Circa in Las Vegas is hosting the world's biggest pro football contests, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo. Over 21 million in guaranteed prizes. You can't call yourself a true DGen if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. So come hang out with SGPN at the Circa contest weekend, August 21st through the 23rd for an amazing weekend, including live shows and open bars. You had me at open bars first and foremost, but live shows definitely a great perk as well. Plus, you get 15% off of a stay at the Circa with promo code SGP15. Contests are open to everybody. Yes, even you sitting there with your arms crossed, not believing that it's for you. It is for you. Sign up in Nevada, play anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP to get 50% off of your proxy fees. Every week, we love to bring you the best of what Underdog has to offer, and Underdog Best Ball Mania is going on all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wires. There's no arguments about trades. Best Ball is quite literally the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog also is a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. We're about to give you all of our favorite Underdog fantasy plays for the Brickyard 400, so staying tight after the DFS portion of it for all of our favorite picks. In the meantime, though, you can sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. You're going to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACESGPN. Well, in true DFS style, there are 160 laps on this one, so and we just talked about it too in the betting episode, where I don't know that there's going to be a person that leads 200 and some odd laps like we saw Chase Elliott do in Dover last week. So the question is, Cody, what is important in putting together your DFS lineup this week?
Yeah, I think that there is going to be maybe a little bit more spread out, as we kind of talked about in the betting episode, for who leads laps. So you need to identify those couple, probably two, maybe three drivers that are going to be up front kind of throughout the day. Less laps led than a place like Dover, 400 laps last week. So if you didn't have Chase Elliott, you were royally fucked, because he put up a lot of fucking points leading all those laps, even though he didn't end up winning at the end of the day, right? Still an amazing DFS day by him there. But I do think it's going to be a little bit different this week. Less laps led to go around, less fast laps to go around. So finishing position is going to be even more important than it was last week. Place differential also going to play a key factor as it does pretty much every week.
Especially in those value plays that we'll give you later. But first and foremost, then let's get to it. Who, Cody, is the best high price driver on the slate for you this week?
Well, Rod, you don't have to scroll very far to find the guy who just signed a contract extension, just had a baby, just won again last week, has 4 wins this season. It is on top of the world, except maybe in the courtroom. Denny Hamlin, $11,000. Honestly, I don't know how you can't play Denny Hamlin at this point in time right now with how things are going. He's looked great. He's been on fire. He led 67 laps last week after starting in 13th, ends up winning the race. And again, as I talked about in the betting episode, if you haven't listened, the way that I'm looking at this, somewhat current form, right? What have you done for me lately? But not too worried about all these road courses, the street course, Atlanta, those things. What have you done lately? But also, what have you done on the bigger, faster tracks? There's not a true comparison to this. Pocono's the closest you're going to get. But I think you can look at the Kansases, the Charlottes, the Texases, those places also. So you go back to Pocono, the last place we were at, the most comparable, starts in first, finishes second, leads 32 laps on the day. Again, bigger track, 32 laps is fine. You'll take that on a track like this because there's only, 140 to go around. So if that's spread out, you like that. Michigan starts in first, or finishes in first, rather, after starting in third. He didn't lead too many laps. You'd like to see more than that, but he led a ton of laps at Nashville. While that's a smaller track, still, he's been on fire here lately. Led 53 laps at Charlotte. Rough day at Texas, so he did wreck out of that one early, but he's looked really good. He's been in great form here lately, and not only at the tracks, right? He won at Dover, but he was fourth place at the Chicago Street Course, the second at Pocono, first at Michigan, third at Nashville. So that's the last, 6, 7 races, and he's got 5 top 4 finishes in the last 7 races. So not a driver hotter than Denny Hamlin right now. $11,000 at the top of the board. I think that he's perfectly fine going after. And on top of that, looking back at this track, again, we've only got one next-gen race to look at, and it didn't go well for him. He finished in 32nd place, but before he finished in 32nd place, he did start second. He did lead 21 laps. He won the first stage, third in the second stage. So he was on his way to having a good DFS day before getting caught up in a crash late. Of course, we had this couple overtimes. People were running out of fuel left and right. Leaders, Keselowski ran out of fuel as the leader coming to the green flag in overtime. Crazy stuff. But if you go back over his last 8 starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 6 finishes here. Led 37 laps back in 2018 as well. So, and 2020 led 19 laps before getting caught up in a wreck also. So hopefully we don't have the wreck that he's had the last 2 times out here, but he's on fire right now, and I'm not straying away from him. I think you don't overthink it, and you go right back to Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, don't let these veteran guys get hot, though. That's really the thing of it is, and Denny's getting hot right now. And I think maybe even all of this 2311 stuff might be fuel for it. I mean, it doesn't – obviously he's not bringing it up much in what – but, I mean, you got to think that when you go out on the track and you're like, all right, I'm just going to hammer down, and I'm just going to do what I can do, and you can hate me if you want, but I'm going to be good, and you can't ignore that I'm going to be good.
Feels good to beat NASCAR somewhere, right, Rob?
Yeah, if you can't do it in the courtroom, might as well do it on the track the way you're supposed to.
Do it on the track, that's right.
All right, I talked about him a lot in the betting episode. I'm going to bring him up here again because and in fact, if you go back and listen to the In Between Media, the Back Road last night, I think both Elliot and I were just sort of, we feel this. We feel that Kyle Larson may have to be a force to be reckoned with this weekend. The stats obviously are not there the way you want them to back this up. But I think even more than the betting aspect of this, I think the DFS aspect of this makes a little more sense as well. $10,500 for Kyle Larson. It's kind of expensive. It's kind of pricey. But, to your point earlier, though, about Denny Hamlin, Cody, he's got the second highest fantasy points per race average at 45.9. Right behind him, though, is Kyle Larson at 44.7. We keep saying how awful of a season this is for Kyle Larson. We keep saying that this is not a Kyle Larson. This is a slump, right? Well, there's a lot of drivers that would love to have a slump like Kyle Larson and still have the third highest fantasy points per race average in the entire garage, right? It's a slumping season, 13 top 10s, 10 top 5s, 3 wins. And everybody's saying Kyle Larson is washed. Yeah, he's not doing the greatest lately. I get that. I understand that. But he's Kyle Larson, and every time he sets foot on that track, every time he gets his foot on the gas, there's the possibility for him to go out and be absolute dominance. So last season on this track, he got you 57.75 fantasy points, which was the 4th best output of the day. He won the race, right? Starting 5th, 15 fast laps. He only led 8 laps in that one. So didn't need a lot to turn in a good day. And 57 points on a $10,000 salary is not really all that bad, to be honest with you. And so the thing of it is like, I'm not going to sit here and thump you with stats for Kyle Larson, because you guys know that lately it hasn't been the greatest of all greats. But you have to remind yourself at some point that this is still Kyle Larson, right? And yeah, after Charlotte, didn't look good. After trying the double, didn't look good. But he just turned in a 4th place finish at Dover after starting 25th. There's speed in that 5 car. There always has been. There always will be with Kyle Larson behind the wheel. And I think DFS-wise, there's going to be a lot of people that are out there, like you were, Cody, last week, or last episode. I don't know. I don't trust him. I don't like him. And that's fine, because you can feel good loading up with him in a GPP or even in a cash game. And if everybody misses on him, then you're the one that didn't. So I like Kyle Larson this week, and I think 10-5 is a pretty decent price to pay.
He's got the highest ceiling every week. He's got the lowest floor every week. He can go out, lead 212 laps or whatever he did at Kansas, win the race, or he can go out and step on it and wreck every week, because he does that a lot too. It can go either way. He can be a good play. He can be a bad play. I mean, it can go either way. And while I'm down on him somewhat, it's more so I'm up on like a guy like Denny Hamlin, and I'm not willing to bet him at at a favorite number. But like last week, he still has the opportunity to turn in a great DFS day. If he starts near the back, well, that doesn't always work out either for him. But he can be a good play. He can be a bad play. I mean, it really can go either way. And has big swings with Mr. Larson.
He could have a 75-point day like he did last week at Dover, or a negative 17-point day like he did at Sonoma. So yeah, you're right. The big swings are there, and it's just a matter of how comfortable, how risk averse. I love that phrase. How risk averse are you in using Kyle Larson? But yeah, I definitely think this is a great week to play him, especially in your DFS lineups. All right. JC says,
would like him to step up.
Well, I mean, look, you may get your wish, JC. Justin wanted Cody's internet to screw up, and it was. So this may be just the wish granting episode.
There you go.
All right, Cody.
I don't want to say I want that too, Rod, but it would help out some of my bets this week.
That's factually correct. All right. Well then, JC, let's take a step on down to the mid-tier drivers here, and who is going to save us a little bit of money, as we have some pretty pricey, high-priced drivers this week.
Yeah, we went straight to the top of the board, but we told you maybe a little bit more of a chalky week, right? So that's going to happen. Also, though, Rod, it is Brad Keselowski week. Happy Brad Keselowski week to everybody. $8,400. People are laughing. People think it's funny. It's not a joke, friends. Brad Keselowski has been fucking good lately, especially DFS-wise. Look what he's done. Last week at Dover, 40.4 points. It wasn't that impressive, right? He just starts in 15th, finishes 10th, 3 fastest laps in the day, turns in a solid day. Sonoma, Brad Keselowski on a road course, 42.9 points. Minus 18 at Chicago. Brad Keselowski's not going to do well at a street course. There's almost no situation that works out well for him. 60 points at Atlanta. Great day there. But you go back to Pocono, the most comparable track, right? 52 points. Mexico, okay, another road course. Well, 22, not a bad day, but Michigan, big fast track, 52.4. Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, big fast track, 74.8. He has turned in some really solid days here lately, and we have seen a lot of speed out of Keselowski. I know he's way down in the points because the season started bad, but the season started bad, yet even after starting 27th at Las Vegas, still an 11th place finish, in between finishes of 33rd, 26th, 33rd. You got an 11th place finish at Las Vegas, the big fast track where we've seen Ford for the first time in a long time have speed early in the season on big tracks. Texas wasn't the greatest day for him. Fine. Charlotte, though, starts in 35th, finishes in 5th. Kansas, the board says he started in 36th and finished in 37th, but don't forget he was one of the faster cars that day, had a flat tire wreck from second place, but they had a lot of speed on that day, so I'm going to take that, right? You like that. He's not been starting well, really, a lot of places. I kind of hope that happens again this week because we're going to get better numbers on him. 27th at Michigan, he starts, finds his way all the way up to 10th. At the end of the day, all 3 RFK cars in the top 10. You go to Pocono, starts 14th, leads 27 laps, has a pretty solid day, ends up finishing in 9th place. He's been really good on the bigger tracks this week. And then, of course, even Dover last week, a high-speed track, had the speed, looked good. You like to see that. But you go back and you look at what he's done here at this track in particular, should have probably won this race last year. Leading at the end of regulation, led 35 laps, ran out of fuel in overtime on his way to get the green flag in overtime. That was the deal where he runs out, pulls out of the way, and Blaney comes up and got penalized for thinking he was the control car or whatever. But go back and you look, and again, old car, different team, but he's been really good at this track. 4th place here in 2020, did wreck here in 2019, but he won here in 2018, 2nd in 2017. So 3 of his last 5 starts here have been in the top 4, and he should have won last year. You could definitely make the argument for Keselowski has looked really good this year. He's still going under the radar. People are still thinking that, there's been a lot of talk in the Discord about how Tyler Reddick, you can't bet on Reddick, but you can bet on Keselowski. Well, Keselowski's been outperforming a guy like Tyler Reddick. It's going to cost you a lot more money in DFS. $9,700 for Tyler Reddick. You can get Brad Keselowski here at 84. JC saying Brad Keselowski's been his BFF in DFS. He's been a great play a lot of weeks so far this season. And I hope y'all keep sleeping on him this weekend so that I'm one of the few people playing him.
Well, if they're listening to this show, they're not sleeping on him. But for those of you...
Some of them are. Sourdy, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, where is he? We got to bring Sourdy into the mix again. No, listen, I did a lot of... in fact, I think I even talked about it yesterday on the back row, too, where you always claim that I'm going to try to retire these guys. And, for DFS purposes, I have a completely different thought process than when it comes to the betting episodes because, obviously we need them to hit a certain point, or especially even an underdog. We need them to hit a certain position for our projections to be correct. In DFS, a point here, a point there may cost you a couple $100 in a GPP, but like if you're playing a cash game and you're just above the cut line, it doesn't matter if you're a point or 10 points above the cut line. So I do like this play.
Yeah, and in DFS, it's nice because it's not, if he doesn't win, you just lose your 21-1 ticket. Well, if he finishes 2nd place, that's a really good DFS day, right? Or if he finishes 11th place, you're not worried about the top 10 tickets. So, and those are still probably pretty good DFS days for him. So, love Brad Keselowski this week.
Indeed. All right. Well, so for my mid-tier driver, I'm going to try to bunt one just in the play enough so where the third baseman can't get to it and the catcher can't get to it and I can get to first base, right? This is the play I am making with Daniel Suarez.
That MLB game at Bristol coming up here real soon, Rod. They just got the field done. MLB shared a picture of it today. So, hey, I like the cross-sport reference.
Hey, I didn't mean to do it, but that definitely is where we're at. But Daniel Suarez, $6,900.
Nice.
Daniel Suarez. Last year, Daniel Suarez on this track got you the 7th most fantasy points on the day. Started 53rd. Got you 53 points. If he started 53rd.
Wow, started 53rd. I'd love to see 53 cars in a NASCAR race, Rod. That'd be great.
It's Friday. Got you 53 points. He started 25th in this race and finished in 8th place. Just a fantastic day. There's not going to be too many people that are lining up to roster Daniel Suarez. His average finish this season, 21.6. His average fantasy points per race this season, 22.2. It's quite disheartening, right? I mean, he'll have you days like, last week where he got you 10 points, but then he got you 34 points the week before that, 2, 4, 23, 15, but then he'll pop up with a 51, right, where he got you at Michigan. So this is it's just a very difficult situation for Daniel Suarez right now. Nashville, he did have a pretty good day too, where he started 32nd and ended up 16. He got you 43 points that day. So, this is, like I said, this is one of those ones where I'm just trying to get one past the pitcher. I just want to get on base. I want Daniel Suarez to have a day like he did last year and just kind of quietly be the guy that gets you a nice finish in a GPP, because there's a lot of guys in the area of Daniel Suarez that I'm not necessarily all that high on. And as you look down the road in the middle of this pack, right? So Daniel Suarez, like I said, $6,900. The guys around him, AJ Allmendinger, don't trust him here. Shane Van Gisbergen, fun story, don't trust him much. Austin Cindric, yeah, he did good last year, but why did he do good last year, right? He started 38th, finished 7th place. He hasn't done anything like that at all this season. That makes me want to touch him with a 10-foot pole. So Josh Berry, you made a case for him there. Michael McDowell, Eric Jones, this is one where everybody's going to be trying to search for value in this area, and I'm just going to take a chance on Daniel Suarez, who did well here last year, and hopefully that the notes carry through, and he has another good week this week.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy that's probably not very popular of a play, right? Everybody's kind of just out on him right now. He's obviously kind of a lame duck right now. He's a free agent. Nobody really knows what's going on with him. And he's just kind of off the radar. So I like that call out and at a pretty good price. Stan Dinglis is checking in and says Suarez Suarez has 3 top 11s in 5 starts. Not bad
on this track.
That is pretty solid, especially at this price. So I like that as well, Rod.
Yeah, 7th place in 2017 after a 15th place start. He has not lost you positions in any one of his starts. So 15th to 7th in 2017, 20th to 18th in 2018, 20th to 11th in 2019, 37th to 20th in 2020, and then 25th to 8th was his best outing in the 99 car last year. So, yep. Love me some Daniel Suarez. Like I said, this is the bunt single that should get you on base and help you score and win.
Yeah, that's the goal. Just real quick, JC was saying MLB at Bristol. Yes, they are doing the 2025 MLB Speedway Classic. If you remember a few years back, they made a football field inside of Bristol. I believe Tennessee and Virginia Tech played a game there. So now they've done the same with a baseball stadium inside. And on August 2nd, the Atlanta Braves and Cincinnati Reds will face off. I believe the Braves have checkered flags on their helmets. And I think the Reds were doing flames or something. So they're kind of leaning all into it, but it's pretty sweet. You go check out, just Google MLB at Bristol and that'll pop up. But the field looks pretty sweet. Let's see. Also wanted to check in with Laura. Says, cheers, guys. Cheers, Laura. Good to see you. She also says, watching ARCA and having some old smoky banana pudding moonshine.
Ooh.
Pretty nice.
Those are all words that I feel like are in a jumble. I don't feel like they should have belonged together, but I would love to try that.
Interesting concepts or interesting combinations, but sounds good. She also says, but we can't bet top 11. That's why it's a great DFS play, right?
Uh-huh.
You don't have to worry about if he's 11th or 10th. Mark is checking in to no surprise. Roddy predicts Christopher Bell is going to win this week. We talked a little bit about that on the betting episode, so make sure you go back and check that out. So, all right. I am going to move on to my low-priced driver here, Rod, if you're ready for it.
I'm ready. Let's go. Yeah, I know you're looking at me like, do I not? Let's do this, and then we'll get to the other. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. I looked at the clock as I started to talk, and I was like, okay, questionable. Anyways, my low-priced driver, I've talked a lot about this guy this year, and I had somebody else in the dock I was going to talk about, and then I was like, why would I not give this guy out again? Because it continues to pay off week after week. And there's a lot of good reason to give him out this week. So we're going to go back to the trusty old Tyrone Dillon, $5,500, Rod. They've not really raised his price up much. It's actually been $5,000 for 6 weeks in a row. They did move him up to 55, so a little bit of respect there. But he's racing for $1 million this week. But watch out if you're Ty Gibbs, because who knows what voodoo is coming your way this week. But Ty Dillon's been solid each and every single week. 24.5 points for you last week at Dover. 35.5, 39, 47.9. couple of 2s and 3s in there. All right, some shit's going to happen, but 12, 21, 24, 48, 42. He's got some really strong days. And according to Ryan over at iFantasy Race, Indy statistically ranks as Ty Dillon's second best track via his 17.2 average finish. He's also been relatively safe given his low tier and that he's 5 for 5 finishing 21st or better at this track. Last year he finished 19th, but can't say he was that good. He was in the RCR number 33 car in this race last year, if you'll remember. He had an average 29.1 running speed, ranked 37th in total speed rankings, but found his way to get there. He had results of 14th in 2020 and 13th in 2019. And those, if you'll remember, were in the Germain Racing cars. Not great cars, but Ty Dillon managed to get it done. So, yeah, if you look, 2017, first start, 19th, 21st, 13th, 14th, all in Germain Racing. And then RCR last year in that third car, a 19th place finish for him. So he's been strong here. We've seen it throughout this entire tournament. He just keeps finding ways to get it done. There is no team with more motivation than Ty Dillon and that Colleague team this week. They're going to do everything they can to get it done. He's won here in the Xfinity Series. I believe that's his only Xfinity Series win, was at this track. Been solid lately. He's been finding ways to put it together. Good runs. I think he does it again this week. Only 5,500 with the upside that he brings you. And in a general sense, doesn't usually start very well, which we kind of like. So yeah, give me Ty Dillon once again, $5,500.
So that $1 million, right? Joe Gibbs probably has $1 million in the crack of his couch, right? Where he like digs through his, like you and I
wasn't sure where we were going when you were talking about Joe Gibbs and the crack. But
you guys,
I'm glad we went to the couch.
You guys were all waiting for the other side of that. No, just literally like, when we clean out our couch and we find about $15 worth of change that fell out of our pockets, right? That's the kind of stuff that Joe gets. Like, oh, look, I'm cleaning out the couch. I got $1 million. Colleague doesn't have that kind of resources.
It's still 1990s, but that's okay. Continue. Who has change in their couch, Rod? It's 2025.
Me. I'm sorry. I'm an old man. I shout at the damn sky all the time. But no, but for Colleague, it is. They don't have that same type of nonchalantness when it comes. That $1 million means a lot to them. So I think like you said, Ty Dillon's going to be totally digging for it this week, and I think that tends to do you well, especially at the $5,500 mark in your DFS lineups. I'll go one worse, not one worse, I suppose, but $100 less than you. Justin Haley, $5,400.
This is disgusting.
Is it disgusting though?
Yeah,
okay,
he's
fine.
currently banned. I am not speaking his name, Rod.
That's true. I did not beep it out. My bad. But last year, Justin Haley got you the 13th most fantasy points at this particular race with 38 points. He's averaging...
Common mistake. Don't look at what Justin Haley did last year, Rod.
That's fine. But he's in...
He was better in the 51 car.
He's Inspire equipment, Cody, which everybody says is the best equipment in the world that has the greatest driver in the world.
77, not the 7. And yes, TK. You mean the driver of the 7. That is what he meant. He misspoke when he said his name, but it is the driver of the 7.
Nope. Last week got you 30 points. Week before that got you 42, 26, 22, 27. All good, solid outings. 31 at Michigan earlier in the year as well. I look, I get it. You guys want to sit there and make fun of Justin Haley, and that's fine. But he did, like I said, start 35th and finish 20th at this track last year, which is good enough for a pretty good chunk of points. Like I said, 20th to 17th at Dover, 29th to 15th at Sonoma, 28th to 22nd at Chicago, and then a couple of big swings, 31st to 21st at Michigan. You guys love you some Spire, so I don't want to hear you besmirch the name of Justin Haley anymore, because at a DFS purpose, I think he's going to serve you well. He's only $5,400. If he gets you 25 points, you should be happy with those 25 points and go back and thank him later. Because your guy Carson Hocevar is going to get you negative 25, and your guys are all like, "Oh, I love Carson Hocevar." No, shut up.
Well, if you notice, Carson Hocevar did not come up on the show until you brought him up, Rod. Oddly enough,
rent free in my head, you guys. That's where he lives, rent free in my head. But yeah, so that's Justin Haley, $5,400. That's my low price driver.
Yeah, I believe I'm legally obligated to disagree with you, so I will do so.
Good. I welcome. I
want nothing to do with the driver of the number 7 currently. He's not been kind to me this year in many different ways. Not personally, because I've not had any interactions with them, but betting wise, fantasy wise, and I'm completely abstaining from using the driver of the number 7 right now. I stand in solidarity with Corey LaJoy, and I will not put any respect on the name of the 7.
Do you hear that, Michael McDowell? You're the only Spire driver that is consented. Everybody likes on this show. So take note of that, Michael, and have some fun with it. But all right, get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our DFS plays for this Brickyard 400. Cody started you out. Dennis Hamlin at $11,000 as his high price driver. I said Kyle Larson. Right next to each other on the track all the time. Now they're next to each other in the dock. $10,500 for Kyle Larson. Brad Keselowski, $8,400 was Cody's mid-tier driver. I dropped down to Daniel Suarez at $6,900.
Nice.
And then Ty Dillon rounds out at $5,500 for Cody's low-price driver. The driver of the 7 car, a.k.a. Justin Haley, $5,400 for my low-tier driver. That'll do it for DFS. When we come back from the break, we will hit you with all of our favorite underdog fantasy plays for this show. But before we get there, allow me to tell you about my friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including MLB, WNBA, golf, and, of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. There is easy deposit and lightning-fast payout using cryptocurrency. National Rugby League taking part in their week, round 21, I think, this week. And they got the South Sydney Rabbitohs, 12.5-point underdogs to the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I'm going to take the Sharks minus 12.5. Poor Rabbitohs just have not been able to get it done. Last couple times they've met the Sharks, they've lost by plenty more than 12.5. It was 27-12 Sharks against the Rabbitohs last time they met in March of 2025. And then 20-6 in the previous meeting in 2024. So give me the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks minus 12.5 over the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Yes, that is a real team. Yes, that is a real bet you can make on MyBookie. Head to MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. You have heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. It's essentially the best of the best of what their house model has to offer. Their AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily, exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. MLB Power Trends are 254 and 147 with a win rate of 63% and an ROI of 4.5% over their past 400 bets. WNBA Power Trends 35 and 20 since their launch, 63.64% win rate with a 20.7 ROI. Go download that Rhythm app now. Check out Power Trends and start betting smarter. You know we're going to be. Get your 7-day free trial today. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm.
Wow, you hate Carson Hocevar and the Rabbitohs? I can't believe you, Rod.
I love South Sydney. I love you, but your Rabbitohs are not really the greatest of teams right now, and I hate it for you. You guys are getting blown out left and right, so just bet against them.
That'll happen. JC wondering about the weather, Rod. Will it be a factor like last week? He hopes not. Well, it's a 50% chance tomorrow. It's a 50% chance on Sunday. So, you got a 50-50 shot, as they say. There is no lights at IMS for the record, as we've learned through the Indy 500 a few different times. But hopefully the weather does not play a factor. Hopefully we get in the truck race tonight, of course, over at IRP. But as we mentioned at the top of the show, we do have the wet weather tires for the truck race. That is on the short track at IRP. We will not have wet weather tires at IMS for Cup or Xfinity for sure.
Well, you can have fans catch fireflies in milk jars if we need lights around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That would.
You think that'll work, Rod?
No, but it'd be fun to watch. That's for sure. Absolutely, would love to see that happen.
Are you guys sure you want more of these Friday shows?
They don't want no. I could already see the reviews. This is a horrible show. These guys should not do shows on Friday. You talk about fireflies and Rabbitohs. It's horrible. All right, let's get back to it where we start breaking down our favorite underdog fantasy plays before the Rabbitohs make another appearance. It's simple. You just got to pick the projected. There's a finishing projection that you get for each driver, and you figure out whether or not you think they're going to finish better than or worse than that finishing projection. Stack up the multipliers and watch yourself cashing out at the end of the day. Of course, they did drop them today, so thankfully we had time to get them out there, and hopefully they stay that way, even with the practice and qualifying as they are.
Yeah, and practice got moved to tomorrow, so these should hopefully stay up now through until practice tomorrow. So that is great. I hit a nice one last week. Had I think it was just four entries on there, $5. Just tossed in one that I felt good about at like midnight or 1 a.m. I was like, I like this. I threw $5 on it and cashed out for $186. So nice payday. It's always a lot of fun. All right, Rod. It's Brad Keselowski week. Already told you that. Better than 10.5? Sign me up. I mean, I've already made the case for him on the betting episode. I already made the case for him earlier. But he's been strong this season. He's looked really good. Coming off a 10th place finish at Dover. Ran second at Atlanta. I didn't really talk about that earlier. Drafting track, I get it, but part of his momentum kind of coming into this, right? Even the 11th at Sonoma was impressive. 9th at Pocono, the comp track to this. Fast at Kansas was second place when that tire blew. 5th place at Charlotte. The 11th place at Vegas in the middle of a shitty season to begin the year. We've seen the speed out of RFK, the entire camp. They've all three finished. I think it's been 3 times this year. All 3 of them have finished in the top 10, and I believe those were all, I think it was Pocono. I think it was Michigan. So, the bigger, faster tracks that we've been to, or at least a couple of them. I don't remember where the other one was, but RFK has looked good. They've had speed. Keselowski's looked good. And as I noted earlier, he's been great here in the past, including last year when he arguably could have won this race leading at the end of regulation. So give me Brad Keselowski, better than 10.5.
Yeah, okay. So I think I said on the betting episode, I don't know, it feels like so long ago that I'm with you on that one. I'll be okay with your RFK love this week because there's no better way, I guess, or there's no better time to back you on RFK than this week. So I'll take your Brad K on this one. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, got to put me to bed already. It's been late. This is where I'm setting it up now because I see in the doc now that this is where we're on opposite ends of this.
We don't do this very often. I can't remember the last time where we both had an underdog play on the same driver and we took opposite sides.
I don't think we ever have. This is a first. 651 episodes. This could be a first. This is our spicy Friday.
I had selected this one. I was like, oh shit, great line. I love this. Great projection. And I went to put in the I saw you had the opposite side, and I was like, fuck it. We're going to duel this one out.
Let's duel it out. Chase Elliott, his projection is set at 7.5. I'm going to take the worst. I will let you, Cody, pump up Elliott with all of the good stats, but allow me to give you the ones that I base this off of. And he's had 7 career starts on this track, 2 top 10s. Last year was not even a top 10. Last year he started 3rd and finished in 10th. Before that, 11th, 9th.
Hold on. Was not a top 10, but he started in 10th, or he finished in 10th?
I'm sorry. Listen. I'm trying to put together the case.
Is it a top 10 or is it not a top 10, Rod?
He was a top 10 car in 2 of the races. Last year, he started in 3rd, finished in 10th. The year before that, 11th, 9th, 5th. Follow my thought process, not what I'm saying, you guys. 10th, 11th, 9th, 15th, 39th, 15th, 18th on this track. The projection here is set at 7.5. None of those finishes, which I read, were better than 7.5. And I understand, different car, different ball, this, and I get it, right? But something about this particular track, yes, he'll finish well. Yes, he'll probably log you a top 10 finish. But getting the 7 range, that's a little high in there, right? If you look at Michigan, which I looked at, right, one of the big fast tracks, he finished 15th. Nashville, 15th. I know that's not necessarily the same, but there's not a whole lot to compare to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as we talked about in the betting episode, as far as direct comp tracks. So I get it. And I know, and I'm going to agree with everything Cody's about to say. And I truly believe that you can build this case the opposite direction as well. But when you just look at this track by itself, this is the troubling part of it. There's guys that are good all over the place, but there's one thing about one place that gets your goat. And this right now is exactly where I'm leaning towards. So Lynn's got it right, guys. Listen to my conclusion, not my argument. Thank you, Lynn. If living in America's taught you nothing, it doesn't matter what I say, it's what I ultimately say.
I would like to object to this. I object. The counselor here is trying to paint a picture of previous Indianapolis, and it doesn't fucking matter. And then he tries to tell you that the top 10 last year is not a top 10. It's not even the correct facts. He tries to tell you that he wasn't good here last year, despite the fact that he was the 4th best car in total speed ranking, thanks to our friends over at iFantasy Race. He got penalized on that stupid blend line violation when he was running in 2nd place at the time, drove all the way back through the field, still managed a top 10 performance. And previous years don't matter, but fine. You want to go back and look at other previous years here? How about 2020, the last time he was here prior to that? He led 26 laps. He finished 4th in stage 1, 2nd in stage 2, ended up 11th, so fell just short of hitting this. But it's not like he's been horrible. He's not Corey Haim at IRP. And I believe that the counselor over here has just led you down a completely wrong path. Now, the other thing Counselor Villa Gomez did not tell you is that Chase Elliott, oh shit, I got a little excited, hit my microphone. Chase Elliott, one of the streakiest drivers in the entire garage, is on fucking fire right now. I'm going to read you his results here. Dover, 6th. Sonoma, 3rd. Chicago, 16th. Fine outlier. Atlanta, 1st. Pocono, 5th. Mexico City, 3rd. He is on fire. He's looking great right now. Had a fast car at Kansas. Remember, he led 29 laps. Looked really good. Sometimes, occasionally, he slips up at the end of these races. We saw it last week at Dover after leading 238 laps. But also, oh, by the way, he led 238 laps last week. We're coming off of the best performance, arguably, of his career outside of a Martinsville race where he led more laps on a much shorter track. He was fast and dominant. This car has got a lot of speed right now. And you look at the top 7, sure, the JGR cars are all fast, and the RFK guys have been good, as I noted, but guys like Byron have struggled a little bit lately. Is Kyle Larson going to struggle a bit lately? That kind of opens up some of these spots. I think you're crazy to take the worst in on this. Not only is it a bad play, it's a crazy play. And the better than side of things is the lock of all locks. Give me Chase Elliott, better than 7.5. I rest my case.
My closing argument is this. I would like the counselor to answer these questions, Counselor Zeeb. Of the following finishes that I will read off to you, are any of these better than 7.5? 10. I'll wait. 11, 9, 15, 39, 15, 18. None of them.
Objection. It's not relevant to the current conversation.
Because it doesn't back your play. I rest my case.
Because it doesn't matter. I've said that from the beginning. Like, I referenced that Denny's been good here. I referenced that Keselowski's been good here because it's nice in addition to what have you done for me lately. But it does. Kyle Larson, guess what? He was great here last year in this same car. I don't think that matters because of his current form. So, yeah. And then I think that was great. That was a lot of fun. Stan checking in, by the way, and say no mention of Ty Gibbs. Honorable mention. He is 10.5 on Underdog. That was the next. It didn't make the final cut, but I do like that play as well.
All right, Lynn, so this is another instance where just don't listen to anything I just said, arguments I made against Chase Elliott, because I'm going to turn around and do this with Denny Hamlin. We talked about Denny Hamlin earlier in the DFS portion of this. They got him projected at 5.5 as far as his finishing position, and we honestly, truly believe that Denny Hamlin is much better than the last 2 finishes he's had on this track, which he crashed out of both of them, right? Started 6th, ended 28th in 2020, and then last year started 2nd, ended up crashing in 32nd on this one as well. So we do believe that he is due for a bounce back, but a lot like Chase Elliott, he, and like what Cody just said, laid out, is on a gigantic hot streak right now. And for him to finish top 5 in this race, I can't see how he can't. Like, the way he's been lately, the contract extension, the baby, the win, all of this stuff is just too much in his favor. We know JGR, we know Hendrick Motorsports are going to be 2 of the dominant teams out there. And for Denny, it's 5.5. He's going to get a top 5. That's just the end of the argument. I don't want to pile on any more stats than what Cody did in the DFS episode, because it's all just going to say the exact same thing, to which Denny Hamlin has a legit shot at winning this race, let alone finishing in 5th. So give me Denny Hamlin better than 5.5.
I am seriously considering taking that money that I won last week on Underdog and putting it all back into Hamlin better than 5.5 and Elliott better than 7.5, and just running with the two-person lineup. I love both of these plays so much. I love the Denny Hamlin one. I completely agree with you on this. I was going to make my part of the show here, but you did steal that one from me. So I'll let you have it, Rod. But I absolutely love Denny Hamlin better than 5.5. So full endorsement on that. He has just been outstanding lately. And, if you are into previous track history, been pretty good here as well. Another example of why I don't think last year's results matter. Tyler Reddick. It's been a hot topic over in the Discord. And sorry to disappoint you, fellas, but Tyler Reddick worse than 8.5. I think this is another pretty easy one, honestly, in my opinion. Look, if you've listened to this show since going into last season, Rod, I was probably the biggest Tyler Reddick fan in the entire world. I was banging the Tyler Reddick drum. I was all about Tyler Reddick. I was all over his championship odds. Everything Tyler Reddick I was on. He comes out, he has an amazing regular season. He wins. Oh, thank you, Laura, for that update. Brett Cruz just won the ARCA race. Absolutely great. We got some bets on him in the truck race tonight. So that's great. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I was all over him, right? He comes out, he wins the regular season. He made the Final Four, right? And sucked at the championship race, unfortunately. But all over him, right? I loved him. Everything Tyler Reddick I was over. Great. I was sort of that way, not to as much of a degree going into this year, but I've been nothing but disappointed in Tyler Reddick. Now, you can go back through, I will build the case for recent results. Okay. 12th at Dover last week, not better than 8.5, but 6th at Sonoma, 3rd at Chicago, 4th at Atlanta, but road course, street course, super speedway. Let's go back and look at all the comp tracks that I want to look at, right? Okay, Rod, tell me when one of these is better than 8.5. Pocono, he finished 32nd. Michigan, he finished 13th. Charlotte, he finished 26th. Kansas, he finished 17th. Are you still there, Rob? Okay. Yep, that's what I thought. Texas, he finished 21st. Las Vegas, he's always great at Las Vegas, right? 24th. That's all the big fast tracks we've had this season. You didn't stop me when I got to the better than 8.5, Rob.
No. The crickets were definitely out, though.
Because there was none. Look, Tyler Reddick, 2311. This has been a team that we've expected to be fast and look good on these tracks. He was fast here last year. I understand that. But nothing I have seen from Tyler Reddick this season on big tracks makes me think he's going to be any good this week. I just don't understand the love. I think that you're getting a gift that he's at 8.5 because we're at the point in the season where we have enough stuff to look at for current form, what things look like this season, and it has not looked good for Tyler Reddick. I'm completely out on Tyler Reddick on these big tracks right now, and I love worse than 8.5.
Yeah, I can't back that either. I can't back that. I can't back him being better than 8.5. It just doesn't. There's nothing, like you said, that leads me to that conclusion. And I was going to put this in there, but I already had Elliott worse than I didn't want to keep gutting the worse then. So, but I did say to you in the betting episode that his teammate would actually have a semi-decent day on this track as he did last year, and that's Bubba Wallace. They've set his projection at 12.5. I'm going to go ahead and take the better than on that one as well because, okay, fine. Past history at this track doesn't matter, but it does because Bubba Wallace has finished inside of the top 10 in all three, or three of his four, rather, all three that he's finished, really, races on this track. A fifth place finish last year after starting in 17th. He started 17th in 2020 in the 43 car, ended up finishing in 9th. Again, this is different. This is 23 and 43. So in 2019, he started 15th and ended up finishing in 3rd. He led 26 laps in last year's race. The only race in which he did not have a top 10 finish on this track is his very first race here where he crashed out and finished 38th. But okay, fine. If you don't want to take all of that because it's all past track history, how about our friends over at iFantasy Race that give you the conventional track total speed rankings heading into Indianapolis for this year? You will find Bubba Wallace 13th on this list. There is no 12th place because Alex Bowman and Chris Buescher are tied for 11th, and Bubba Wallace is sitting right there in what should be, I suppose, 12th place with a 14.6 average speed ranking overall on these conventional tracks. And how about the season-to-date total speed rankings heading in there? Bubba Wallace sitting right there at 12th with a 15.9 overall. So the speed on Bubba Wallace is good enough to be a 12th place car, I guess. Getting him there is the only problem. But last week, guess what? Finished 7th at Dover. I like to look at Michigan as far as what we're looking at when we look at these tracks that are big and fast and everything. He finished 4th at Michigan, right? So there's a couple of good finishes in there for Bubba Wallace that lead me to believe that 12th place finish for him is not out of the realm of possibility. I highly think that this is a good bounce back week. I think I even had him as a top 10 car in the betting episode. So obviously if I have him as a top 10 car, he's going to finish better than 12.5. So give me Bubba Wallace better than 12.5.
Yeah, I think Bubba Wallace can actually help the argument against Tyler Reddick because majority, he's not been great on the bigger tracks this season either, but Michigan here recently and Dover here last week, he showed a lot of speed. So there's at least been some signs of life from him, unlike his teammate, and it's a 12.5 instead of 8.5. So you do like that better. And as we talked about on the betting episode, this is Bubba Wallace season, right? He's points racing hard. We've seen this a couple of different years. He gets to this point in the season, he gets uber focused and just cranks out scoring points. He's been doing that really well. So I don't mind this play at all. And I'm much more interested in Bubba Wallace this week than in his teammate Tyler Reddick, which not something you say a lot of places, honestly, but I've seen more from him at comparable enough tracks lately than I've seen from his teammate. So I like it.
Bingo, bango. All right, let's go over, get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our underdog fantasy plays for this race for the Brickyard 400. Cody started you out with Brad Keselowski, better than 10.5. I said Chase Elliott would be worse than 7.5. Cody said Chase Elliott would be better than 7.5. I said Denny Hamlin would finish better than 5.5. Cody said Tyler Reddick would finish worse than 8.5. And I said Bubba Wallace would finish better than 12.5. There it is, Cody. I know we're getting ready for the truck race here to start pretty soon. So everybody, after you're joining us for the live, just go ahead and click on over to FS1 where the truck race will start. Laura, thank you for telling us that Cruz won ARCA. I guess Queen got third. So we're happy there, nice. But we'll see how that translates into the truck race because that's not going to be – we're going to have an interesting truck race. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, we're about to see both of those guys move on over. I did, Rod, play 5 of these plays in a pick. Of course, we had competing picks, so I wasn't able to play all 6. I made the executive decision to choose the Elliott better than side of things instead of the worse than.
Of course. But
20 times your entry fee you can get, so throw in $10, $200 it pays out. Nice, solid day for you there. And then just for reference as well, I know Lynn had said he liked the Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin one. You take both of them better than, and you get 3.5 times your entry. And nice solid day for you there as well.
Indeed. All right. Well, we've reached the end of Indianapolis week. We almost thought we weren't going to get here, but here we are. And that's it. The only thing left for you guys to do, if you haven't already, is go catch up on the betting episodes and get your cards set for, well, you better hurry up quick for the trucks, but there's still time for Xfinity and Cup. And we'll be back next week with another fantastic week of racing and another fantastic week of episodes.
Absolutely. Been a fun week, Rod. Iowa next week, so looking forward to that. Cannot wait. Thanks, everybody, for joining us this week. Best of luck at Indy and at IRP, of course, tonight as well. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Click the bell, like, share, all the fun stuff that the kids say. And follow me over on the X, at Husker_Zeb. You can find all my stuff over there. See you guys next week.
Hopefully corn sweats have not made Iowa more wet than in Indianapolis.
Real quick, Rod. Quick.
Yes.
Went to a local dirt track last night. Got to do some more infield reporting. About an hour 20 drive. So me and my buddy James, driving back from that, we lived through the corn sweats. It was insane. It was so like where this track's at, it's a bunch of highways and stuff that you're going through. The corn sweat fog was so crazy. I was thinking of you the whole time. I'm sure that makes you happy, but I was like, oh my God, I got to tell Rod about this corn sweat. It was insane. I've experienced it before, but that was like one of the most, and since it's been a topic here lately, it was, quite the experience.
I would like for a handicapper to put the over-under on corn sweat to talk over the next few weeks. But follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. There's a link in the bio to everything I've got going on, including all the corn sweats and, fun stuff going on. Make sure you check out In Between Media, me and Elliot holding it down this week talking about Indy. All right, we'll be back next week. Corn sweating with Iowa and having a good time talking about the races there. So we'll see you next week. We love you all. And until we see you again, let's go racing and let it ride.